Aloha, and welcome to the University of Hawaii West Oahu's Research and Writing series. While this 4-episode series, which is a partnership between the library and No'eau Center, is intended primarily for introductory level students, students in advanced courses may also find it useful. My name is Karina, and I'm one of the librarians here on campus. I work primarily with the Education and Social Sciences divisions, and I'm excited to work with you as you complete this workshop. Joining us later in the series will be Robin and Becca, both of whom work at the No'eau Center. Robin is a tutor coordinator, and Becca is their learning and success specialist. Together, we are here to empower you so that you feel confident with research and writing. The first episode in this series focuses on how to identify a topic and how to find background information. In this episode, we'll be talking about the different ways that you can brainstorm ideas, the resources that you can use to find background information, and how you can refine your topic to ensure that it will satisfy the demands of your assignment guidelines. In each episode of this series, you will need to watch a video, then complete the accompanying quiz. View our website for more information. Now, before we do anything else, let's start off with some tips that we hope you'll remember and utilize not only when you're trying to identify a topic, but throughout the entire research and writing process. First and foremost, it's incredibly important to keep notes. As your research progresses, you might hit a wall. So if you keep a steady log of what you did where and what you've been finding, you'll be able to consult your notes and consider alternate approaches to your search strategy or to your overall topic. Talking with others is also beneficial, as their feedback can make you consider various viewpoints or routes. For some people, the simple act of verbalizing their thoughts with a confidant is enough to show how weak or strong an idea is. So don't be afraid to talk to your friends, to your classmates, to your family, or to your teacher. Now, when you have an assignment that you're working on, the first thing that you should do is carefully review the assignment guidelines to make sure that you know what it is you're supposed to be doing. So there are some things to look for. Are there requirements pertaining to the length of the paper or the amount of peer-reviewed articles you need to utilize? Are there restrictions pertaining to topics that you cannot write about? Has the professor provided you with example ideas or topics to illustrate what you should be striving for? Review whatever it was that was shared with you and write down any questions that you have so that you can get clarification from your instructor. It's incredibly important to do this at the very beginning of your assignment so that you don't do a lot of work only to realize that you're doing the wrong thing. After you've reviewed the assignment guidelines and are beginning to brainstorm ideas, you should start by considering what the class is about. What is it that you're studying? What made you take this particular course? In everything in this field of study that you've examined before, what did you find most interesting? Some ways to spark ideas might be to look through your class syllabus or your textbook. Now, the most important aspect of brainstorming is to consider your personal interests. You want the research and the writing to be enjoyable for you, so pick a topic that you're truly interested in. Is there a way that you can tie the assignment to a trend that has always fascinated you? Or a hobby that you have? Or a major controversy that you've always wanted to learn more about? The key here is to consider the assignment, what the focus of your course is, and what interests you as an academic and a human. Even if the assignment is for a Gen Ed core course that you're required to take, there are ways to make it engaging for you and related to your specific major. That's a win-win. Now, in this next section, we're going to give you a few examples of assignment guidelines you might receive. In this first scenario, you've been given a very guided topic with very specific guidelines. The topic pertains to activism, and you're required to take up a cause you believe in, then provide a strong argument supported with credible evidence that explains to the reader exactly why this is a cause worth believing in. Your professor has provided you with guidelines pertaining to length and the amount as well as type of resources that you'll need to use to support your stance. With an assignment like this, not much time will need to be devoted to choosing a topic, as you've been given really specific guidelines and are constrained to the field of activism. So the majority of your time will instead be spent on selecting a cause you believe in, researching that cause, and convincing others that the cause is important with strong, cohesive arguments and evidence in the actual paper. In a more open-ended example of assignment guidelines you might receive, your instructor might grant you a lot of leeway in choosing a topic. In this specific scenario, you can write about any topic related to U.S. history. Now imagine that you are the student tasked with writing this paper and that you really love movies and everything about Coca-Cola. The taste, their marketing, their company, just everything about Coca-Cola. When reviewing your syllabus, you saw that both the Great Depression and the Vietnam War were going to be discussed in class. Both events interested you, as you know how pivotal they were in American history, and you don't really know much about either. So one topic you could consider writing about might be how Coca-Cola was sort of flourishing in the Great Depression, while the rest of the economy was floundering. Many attribute their growth during this time to an affordable drink, which increased consumer demand, and by successful marketing strategies that appealed to Americans. You might also consider writing about the Vietnam War, as you've watched a lot of movies on the war, but you don't really have a solid grasp on the political nature of it, nor how it started or ended. So once you've settled on a topic, you can start searching for background information. This is an important step, as it'll ultimately reveal whether your topic is right or whether you need to refine it a bit so that you can successfully complete the assignment. Now, in this last scenario, I am in a political science class, and I have been tasked with writing about immigration. So we're restricted to that topic, but it's open-ended in the sense that I could write about numerous individuals, events, or laws that are closely related to immigration. At this point, I want to examine immigration from a big picture perspective. To get an overview of a topic, I'll want to start with a reference resource. Reference resources are things like dictionaries or encyclopedias. They provide you with a broad overview of the topic, highlighting useful facts and figures, and ultimately just the history of it. Consulting with reference resources at the beginning of a research assignment is particularly important, as it can point you in new directions that you might not have otherwise thought of. One of the most popular reference resources is the online encyclopedia Wikipedia. Wikipedia relies on everyday people like you and me to create and edit entries. While Wikipedia might be a good starting point and is actually one that I use a lot, it's important to keep in mind that Wikipedia is not a scholarly resource, so we strongly encourage you to not cite it in your paper. Wikipedia can be a good launching pad and can point you in useful directions, but it's something that a lot of instructors will frown upon, so it's best to err on the side of caution and use a more scholarly resource in its stead. And there are a couple of ways to do that. For example, you can start with Wikipedia and substantiate a fact or a claim that you find in a more scholarly resource like Encyclopedia Britannica, or you can just start directly with Encyclopedia Britannica. At this point, I want to show you how to access and use two of the library databases that provide you with quality reference information. Those two databases are Encyclopedia Britannica, the academic version, and Credo Reference. Both of these resources are scholarly, so they can be cited in your paper. So let's explore Encyclopedia Britannica and Credo Reference. To access the library's website, you can search for UHWO Library on your favorite search engine, or you can type out our entire URL, westoahu.hawaii.edu/library. From here, since we know that we're looking for a database, we're going to go to the main search bar and change the type of search we're doing to a database search. Now that I've indicated that I'm searching for a database, I can type either the first word or the entire name of the database that I'm looking for into the search bar. Since I'm looking for Encyclopedia Britannica, I'm going to type in encyclopedia. Then I'm going to run the search, and here are the results of that search. The one and only result is the database I'm looking for, so I'm going to click on its name. If you run into a login screen, it's just prompting you to enter your UH username and password. And here we are. You'll notice that we are on the academic version of Encyclopedia Britannica, as opposed to the public version. Now, since I'm looking for information about immigration, I'm just going to search for immigration to see what shows up. So now I can see that there are a little over 1,000 entries related to this topic. Looking at the list, I'm seeing information about human migration, immigration in France, immigration in the United States, and more. Let's explore what's at that first link. I can see that it's a really short entry, which illustrates how reference sources provide you with a summary of a very broad or complex topic. Near the top of the entry are different tabs. So if I were interested in viewing related media, I could click on Images and Videos. Or if I wanted to see other Britannica entries that are related to this one, I could click on the Related tab. Or if I wanted to view the edit history of this article, I could click on the Article History tab. Near the top right of the entry are my nifty tools. My favorites are the Cite and Listen tools. In the body of the entry, I can see that some of the text is linked, providing me with an easy way to read up on related terms. So that's Encyclopedia Britannica in a nutshell. Back at the library's main search bar, I'm still doing a database search. This time, though, I'm searching for Credo reference. If I run that same search for immigration, Credo reference scours hundreds of different reference books, and I can see that it's pulled over 20,000 related entries. If I click on one of those entries, I'll see the full content, and the reference book that it was pulled from is displayed at the top. The same types of tools, including the Cite and Listen tools, are near the top right. And there's a bibliography at the bottom of the page if I wanted to do any further reading. Now, once you start looking for information about a topic, whether that be in the reference sources you just saw or in any of our other databases, you may find that your topic isn't quite right and that you'll need to tweak it to better meet the assignment guidelines or to make it more personally enjoyable or rewarding for you. Don't let that scare you or make you feel defeated. Research is a process, so you may need to tweak your topic or your search strategy several times. That's totally okay. It's actually perfectly normal. In the next episode of this series, I'm going to highlight useful search tips and strategies so that when you're ready to start searching for quality information, you'll be able to find it. We'll also be exploring a few of the databases available to UH West Oahu students, faculty, and staff. At this point, though, I want to illustrate the ways in which you can refine your topic. You'll want to consider ways to refine your topic at multiple points during the initial stages of your research. Namely, when you start brainstorming, after you've started looking for background information, and based on what you're finding after you've ramped up the research process. In some instances, your topic may be too broad, so you'll find too much information. In other instances, your topic will be too narrow, so you won't be finding enough information. You can narrow your topic by considering some of the following, and I'm going to use my example of a broad topic of immigration to illustrate each concept. So one thing you might consider is whether there's a specific aspect or impact area that you can examine. For instance, how can immigrants best assimilate in their new country? Or you might consider whether there's a specific time range that you're interested in. For example, how did American immigration policy change between 2010 and 2019? Or you might think about whether there's a group based on either age, sex, race, occupation, or ethnicity that you could focus on. For instance, how does immigration psychologically impact immigrant children? Or you might consider whether there's a geographical region that you could focus on. For example, what are the main differences, if any, in immigration policy in Canada versus the United States? And last but not least, you might try to find ways to weave 2 to 3 of these different concepts, the ones listed above, together to form one mega research question. On the flip side, if your topic is too narrow, you can broaden it by examining whether it's too specific or recent. If it's too specific, start by broadening any time range or geographic location or population group. If your topic is really recent, you'll likely only find news articles and blog posts about it, so you may need to consider changing your topic to something that has been more extensively researched. You might also want to reflect on your search strategy and try different databases or use different keywords. These 2 concepts will make more sense once you've completed the next episode in the series, which will be available starting Tuesday, February 5th. From all of us on the Research and Writing Skills team, mahalo for completing episode 1 of the series. We hope you learned some new ways to identify a topic and find background information. We hope to see you in the next episode of this series, so take care.